Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Rockwood. This is the BF157M-710. Rockwood will very often use a BF159 when they have a center-to-center that they may consider a bit custom, like indeed the 8.5 inch would be. And I've really noticed that there's documentation that has BF157M, and it means this less common 8.5 inch center, but of late I've seen BF159 come when I've ordered a 24 inch custom length. When I've ordered an 8.5, they're saying 159. Anyway, regardless of the actual part number, if you're looking at this, you need an 8.5 inch center to center, which again, not super common, but they are certainly out there. There's an aluminum door manufacturer who uses this, and I don't know that it's Conair, but somebody has 8.5 inch, and it does show up. But also, this is a BF. This is a barrier-free, which means that it's 2.5 inch from the face of the door to the back side of the pull handle. 2.5 inch. This is a 1 inch diameter pull. As a result, it will be 9.5 inch overall height. And then that 8.5 inch center to center. Okay. The other dimension would be perhaps what is the overall width of the unit. Horizontally, would be about 4.25 inch. This is the BF157M. That means that it is a barrier-free, 90-degree offset, 1 inch diameter, 8.5 inch center to center. That's what that means. The 710 means dark anodized bronze is what this is. This is an aluminum base material and a dark anodized bronze type finish. This is a type 1 mount that the client ordered, which means the back side is going to simply be drilled and tapped for the mounting package, the type 1 bolt. And the type 1 bolt specifically is 1/4 by 2.25 flathead machine bolts, or stove bolts I call them, with a flat or countersunk washer. It's just for through bolting through the door. On the inside of the door, you're going to see that washer with the flathead Phillips drive screw going through it, is what that is. Where are you going to use this? Aluminum storefront, very commonly. You'll also sell this to people in other applications. I have a client in the upper Midwest who orders pulls like this from us all the time for unusual door thicknesses, because they build theater rooms and homes, and the door thickness is generally 2 3/4, 3 inch, 3.5 inch thick, and they'll order handles like this mounted back to back. Very common application for what they're doing. Perhaps not an aluminum base material and a dark bronze anodized. That is going to really be most commonly seen in bronze aluminum storefront. But nonetheless, where you're going to use an offset handle like this and a certain size and a certain finish and base material, there you go. Okay, now having said all that, let's move on and talk more about what this item is and its other products. This is a part of a series of offset door pulls, the BF15 numbers. The part number changes as that center to center changes. 8, 8.5, 9, 10, 12, 18 are listed in the product catalog. In fact, as I have alluded to, you can do custom sizes. I think we've done one that's 36 inch. Well, why would someone want a 36 inch door pull? Well, they're not uncommon. You have, a 8.5 like this. You have a 6/8, probably a 7-foot door. Well, what if you had a 9-foot door or a 10-foot door? That pull is probably going to grow in size along with the height of the door, just so that it's proportional, so that everything seems to balance out. An offset pull like this is also a nice idea when you have a pair of doors, and on one door it's got a lock. Well, if you had a standard pull handle there and a 5-inch wide style, let's say it's a mid-style aluminum door, or even worse, a narrow style, you put that D-shaped pull on there, you won't get your hand to the cylinder. You need to have it offset so you can still get your hand to the key cylinders while you might use an offset. The barrier-free part is just giving you additional clearance in here, okay? And while that 2.5 inch, from what I understand, is not actually specified in any documentation, when it comes to a standard or a code or A117, the ADA Usable and Accessible Buildings Guide. I don't believe 2.5 inches listed anywhere, but that's the dimension that you'll find within the industry for handicap compliance. So while you'll use this pole is probably because it's so common. Someone just came up with this pole shape. Maybe it was a manufacturer that said, listen, I've got bar stock and I can bend it and, you know, I'll make a great pole for you. Well, the idea stuck, obviously. Let's switch to the screen view now and take a closer look at the supporting documentation. Here is the item that we are looking at, BF157M in a 710 finish. Some extended description information here, but let's take a look at some photographs first. Okay. Side view. Kind of what the post looks like here. The underside, just giving you an idea of what that looks like, and then the backside view, of course. Then your bolt package, that's what's called a Type 1 mount. Again, a through bolt, 1/4-20 with finish washers. Okay, let's switch back to the item that we're looking at in the extended description. We've gone over everything here, 90-degree offset, 1-inch diameter, 8.5-inch centers, 2.5 clearance, which makes a 3.5-inch projection. Now, knurling option. Knurling is used when you want to indicate to the visually impaired to not enter. It would be very typical to have that on electrical equipment rooms or a stairwell, things of that nature. I've also done knurling just when clients want to increase the amount of, I should say, we would use knurling when we want to decrease the potential for a hand slipping, would be the other reason to use it. And I've done knurling on steam room doors, in locker rooms, in health clubs, and whatnot. Changes the look, and obviously if you're knurling over dark bronze, you're going to have a two-tone color. Probably wouldn't knurl over dark bronze, but, you know, nonetheless, you could do it if you were intent on doing it, I suppose. The mount type, you select it here. Let's discuss it here with the link to the mounting types. So what we're looking at here are some pretty typical mounting types, and the first three are just through bolt style, and ours is Type 1, and you'll notice in that chart there's a Type 1 HD, and that's the same concept, just with a thicker bolt. The thicker bolt would obviously be capable of handling more use, stress, and abuse than a 1/4-20. This would be a decorative style. The Type 12 takes away the bolt and the countersunk washer. We've supplied these handles to people, and they've called aghast as to how awful looking the Type 1 bolt looks. And, well, you ordered a Type 1. Well, that'll never do. So Type 12 is possibly what you want, and we can sell you the bolts only to convert from this somewhat unfinished look to this more refined look. Same concept for glass. Back-to-back mounts are here. Type 16 would be a pretty typical mount for back-to-back, a double cone bolt. So you'll have a Type 16 or an HD naturally for back-to-back, and then the same concept for glass doors. You can do a surface concealed as well. You can also do this. This is obviously shown on a door that would allow internal reinforcement, something like obviously hollow metal, aluminum that's been properly reinforced, but we can also supply this with material for a wood door as well. I would discourage you from this sort of application because, especially in a wood door, I find over the long haul, over time, that sort of surface concealed is a mounting type that's going to fail. It's just too much stress, especially when you have an offset pole as well. Now there's also a link to a document called Template. That's just a dimensional drawing showing our typical BF15 series. The part numbers change as the center to center changes. We can take a closer look by checking out the product brochure here. Then we can switch over to the product brochure, which is here. That will give us an overview of the BF150 series from the Rockwood catalog. Again, part number changes as the center-to-center changes. They do refer to the different base materials, aluminum, brass, bronze, and stainless steel. That can be done. We are also talking about indirectly the different finishes that can be done as well. And what I mean is, on aluminum, you can obviously do clear anodized aluminum, dark bronze, extra dark bronze, black. On brass, you can do, of course, your brass, your chromes, your nickels, satin polished. On bronze, you would do antique, polished, satin, oil rubbed. Stainless steel, you would do polished or satin, but they can do powder coating here as well. And you want to be sure of what we are powder coating in terms of a base material. Meaning if you are expecting that they're going to powder coat stainless, let's be sure that we set it up correctly, because the factory may elect to use, as they've told me, the least expensive base material for powder coating, which indeed would be aluminum. Okay, so declare that if you're powder coating it. And the reason I say that is I received something from the factory one time powder coated, and I was dismayed to find that it was aluminum, because it did not appear to me that they offered the item in aluminum. So I realized I need to qualify that moving forward. Okay, then we have gone over all of these documents. The last thing that we probably would need to talk about would be, before we do that, recommended for ADA opening. Sure, the BF part of the part number talks about that. Again, if I've not mentioned it, advise if the door thickness is other than 1 3/4 inches. Put that here. You know, if you've got 1 3/8 inches or a 2.5 inch thick door, whatever it is, be sure to put that there. There is generally not an upcharge, although sometimes there is. If you've got a 12-inch thick door, for whatever reason, they're going to want more money for the bolts. To finish this up, there's a link below this video here to the manufacturer's page. When you click on that, the manufacturer's page will load, where you can view not only all of the Rockwood products we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog, where the BF150 series can be found, but also a link to their architectural door pull catalog. If you wanted to customize your pulls, or if you were interested in a custom variant, you'll very much want to review this catalog. It's 100 pages of every conceivable design. It's more of a catalog than it is just a cut sheet. It's actually, in fact, more of an idea or picture book than it is a catalog. Very, very helpful material. Rubber, leather, wood, architectural base materials, etc. Let's wrap up this video on camera. In conclusion, it's a very typical piece of hardware that you're going to see on an aluminum storefront. You know, why would you be ordering this? Well, it's been damaged, vandalized, removed, broken off. It could just be cosmetic. You know, if you put that on that door from your perspective, that door from your perspective, what would be a right-hand reverse door, that's the handle. If you've got a pair of them, that's going to get 90% of the use, because 90% of the people are right-handed. You're going to wear that all down and away. You might just do it for cosmetic reasons, because that dark bronze anodizing will come off. The rings in your finger, the keys in your hand will degrade that finish, and you might just want it to look nice. And we sell them all the time for cosmetic reasons. Just yesterday I sold a client a set of Rockwood 47 back-to-back for a pair of doors, so total of 4 handles or 2 pair, just because the solid bronze oil rubbed finish that they had. And these handles are a couple of $100 each, and you need 4 of them to make 2 sets. And it was only because where people make contact with the double acting doors and the push bars, the finish wore off. You know, which of course is an inherent characteristic when it comes to oil rub bronze. But be mindful, you know, if you're doing it for cosmetic reasons, you are not alone. Rockwood is an exceptionally fine company in several departments: customer service, tech support, fit and finish, prompt, reliable, predictable shipping lead times. They're a comprehensive provider of trim and auxiliary hardware, and they must be tough to compete against, because have their act together applies to them. They really do. Any questions on the BF157M and a 710 finish, or any other Rockwood product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.